Hi, thank you for your subscription as always, and welcome to this month's how-to video on all things art journaling and drawing. And because it's December, I thought let's get festive. I've got my sparkly festive earrings in to celebrate the month and the looking forward to Christmas. So one thing that I really like to do around this time of year when I get my Christmas baubles out is to draw them. Obviously, some of them have got lots of kind of stories and memories attached to them, and they are really beautiful objects. So this month's video is going to be 3 ways to draw your Christmas baubles. So I'm going to begin with a warm-up as usual, just doing some simple line drawing, and then with no colour, and then we will move into using some colour, and again use a couple of techniques that you've already done with me but are always useful to revisit. And then we'll be using kind of mixed media, pencils and pens and things to work into a couple of those drawings. So if you're ready, let's get going. Okay, so let's begin then with drawing some baubles, although to begin with I'm not going to be drawing from observation. What I'm going to do instead is just a little gentle but quite fun, I hope, and useful warm-up exercise where I'm going to draw some baubles on this page, but really I'm going to be kind of creating an optical illusion, because what you might be able to see here is that I've got some circles on this page that I've already drawn. They're quite faint, and I've drawn them just by drawing around the both ends of this glass, and I did both ends just to get some variety of size. So what we've got here is just a circle on a flat surface, and just with a pencil, just an HB pencil and a rubber, I'm going to create the illusion of 3 dimensions on the page just with some lines to create a sense of 3-dimensionality, and I'll add a little bit of detail and then we'll have some lovely baubles on the page. Okay. So like I say, the circles are quite faint, and all I'm going to do to begin with on this one is use some sort of curved lines. They're just going to be coming down, and it's a bit like drawing an onion, drawing the lines on an onion skin. I'm just going to draw a series of curves within this circle. I'll go a bit more lightly, I think. I'll probably alter them as I go along. Now the curves closest to the edge of the circle are going to be more curved than the ones that come into the middle. And that's going to help create this sense of 3D. It's a bit like the longitudinal lines on a globe as well. Now, they don't have to be, they're not going to be equally spaced. There'll be some will be lighter, some will be darker. Hopefully that's already starting to look like it might be more curved than flat. Just working my way in, and each time the curve is getting less curved. It says it's a sort of shallower curve, if that's the correct way of describing it. Now, if you were to do this in a sort of proper technical drawing way, I'm thinking back to when I did technical drawing years and years and years ago at school. We would have been measuring around the radius, I think, or the perimeter of the circle, and marking off where these lines need to start at the top and finish at the bottom. So I'm just using my eye, but I guess that technical way of doing it proves that a theory that these curved lines are going to start to make this flat circle look three-dimensional. Just making some extra lines where I think I need to alter my curve a bit, and I might rub some out. Let's go around the edge a little bit. I think I can put that in a bit darker now. I'm not worrying about light and dark. I'm not thinking about shadow or if there's a light source anywhere. It's just a pure line drawing exercise, turning these flat circles into spheres. And what I'm going to do in the middle is going to make, in a minute, sorry, is going to make them suddenly look like baubles even more, be absolutely recognizable as a bauble. Going to lighter, placing more lightly where I think it needs it until I'm sure, a bit more sure anyway. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is give this little bauble a mechanism for hanging it. So I've got some of my baubles out, and some of them have got this kind of little, well, they've all got something to hang them from, but they've just got this simple little top. So this curve here should be the same. The top of that curve should be this. The top of the little cap should be the same curve as that. I might have made that a bit too tall, but let's give it a little hook or little ring. And then a thread. Now it should look like it's hanging, hopefully. And hopefully now we've got something that looks like it's the three-dimensional bauble, just with a few curved lines inside that circle. I don't want to overdo it. Let's leave it at that. So now I'm going to work on this smaller one here. The same principle of just using curves, just drawing curves within this flat circle, but this time I'm going to make the curves go in all sorts of directions. I mean, they're not just going to be from top to bottom. They're going to be across, they'll crisscross over each other. And again, you know, this could just be some, I think you can see, get those baubles where they've got string all wrapped around them. This might be something like that. So let's just nice and faint to begin with. Just give that a little rub out there. So I think again where I'm doing a curve closer to one of the edges, it's a deeper curve than going right across the middle. Okay, and then what I'll do again is give this a little cap. So if I'm imagining that that's my centre line-ish there, this cap comes from either side of that centre line. Make it a bit wider, I think. And another little hook, little loop. There we go. Another illusion, an optical illusion. We've got what looks like a three-dimensional bauble on a two-dimensional page. So with this next one, again, just sticking with my pencil and using some curved lines to create that sense of 3 dimensions, I'm going to combine curves that come from the top to the bottom all across with curves that are going to go from side to side. And I might try and experiment with these curves being slightly wibbly like that. We'll see. I might alter those. Just for a bit of variety. Let's see what happens. Now, when I use my pencil, I alter the pressure as I go along, and I like to do that to get more variety in the light and dark of my line. Just adds more interest. Sometimes I will do that because I'm responding to what I'm seeing if I'm doing an observational drawing, but for this I just like to do it for variety, or to add variety to the page. I think it just makes the line look more interesting, and then hopefully the drawing overall, I don't think that needs to come right down to the middle. I might put some more of those in later. Let's do some horizontally ones, well, left to right ones. Oops, a bit too straight. So there's roughly the middle point. Not too big, not too small. There we go. A bauble hanging from an invisible tree. I think this one is quite interesting. I think I've got fewer of the kind of irregular curves than sort of more regular curves, which is still helping it to look spherical. I don't want to overdo it. Let's leave it at that. For this next one, I'm going to use curved lines still, but fewer of them, and I want to draw some shapes on this one, but still in drawing those shapes, try and turn this, just this circle on this flat paper, make it look like, turn it into what I think will look like, hopefully, a three-dimensional object, and in this case a bauble. So what I'm doing is kind of going to draw these sort of leaf shapes. So I'm imagining that that's a leaf shape on its side, or on the edge of that, and we can't see around the other side. We have another one coming from the centre. I don't think that's a very good shape. It's just because I'm on a funny angle. I have to do this. Okay, and then imagine that there's just one there as well, right on the edge. And then what we could do is something like that. I'm tempted to put a star in some of these gaps. Let's see. Yeah. And if I was to put a little cap on this one here, I'm thinking I could do, but I feel like this is the top of the bauble because this is where the pattern comes down from. And of course I could add more pattern inside these shapes as well. But what I'm going to do instead is draw this bauble as if it's resting on a table or resting on a surface. So let's put its little cap on. This is one of those that string has gone missing since you put it away and you need to restring it. Okay. So because this one is lying on its side on a surface, I'm going to imagine that it's casting a shadow onto that surface, and that's going to help it look more 3D as well. So let's imagine that the light source is coming from behind. So this side is in shadow. Therefore, the shadow is going to be somewhere under here. And I'm just going to use my pencil on its side to get a little smudgy shadow. So I am doing this from my imagination. So I'm not going to let the shadow get too big, I don't think. Let's leave it at that for now. So this side is going to be the one that's in shadow because the light is falling behind it. So let's just put a little bit of shading in just to again help with creating that sense of 3D. There, I think we'll just leave it at that. I always say that and then carry on, don't I? So finally, for my 5th little bauble, for this one, I'm going to introduce a little zigzag pattern. So I'm still going to create like an overall curve, but I'm going to do it with a zigzag. I'm going to try and do it with a zigzag. So this, I'm going to go lightly because this might require some alterations. I don't think that's too bad, but I'm going to just imagine that take it up a bit higher, like that. That's not too bad, I don't think. Let's put another one in here. Again, I feel like that needs to start a bit higher up than I did, like that. That's quite nice. Like a little snow-capped bauble. That doesn't look right. Maybe that's a bit better with just a repeat of these curves, these zigzags, sorry, but just peeking around. We can't see all of the zigzag, just a bit of it. Maybe what I'm going to do next is give this a double line. And again, I'm going to leave it as a line drawing, but of course I could add lots of colour. I could just draw lots of circles on a page and then take inspiration from the patterns of my real baubles and fill the shapes in. Whoops. Yeah, that's quite nice. Bit of a simpler one. Hopefully now you're feeling warmed up and familiar, more familiar with this idea of turning these flat circle shapes into three-dimensional shapes by using just curved lines. So even though I'm making a straight, the zigzag is using straight lines-ish, I've done them in a little bit of a curve, and that's helping suggest that this is a curved surface. Let's put a little cap on it. And now we've got 5 little baubles. we go. So I hope that you enjoy this exercise as much as I have. I could fill this page and then colour them in and add writing, or cut them out, perhaps use them on a Christmas card or something. But for now I shall just stop there and we'll do some observational drawing next.